More than 2 months after the city of Bangor filed its first lawsuit against the owners of the Bangor Mall, lawyers for both sides appeared before a judge for the first time today.
Today's initial appearance addressed both complaints against the mall's New York-based ownership group. The first suit, filed in October, accused the mall owners of 3 violations related to the property's roof, parking lot, and sign. A few weeks later, the city sued again, this time accusing the mall of failing to maintain a stormwater pipe that resulted in human excrement flowing into a nearby stream.
In addition to seeking fines, fees, and ultimately compliance from the owners, the city is also asking the court to order the mall to fix the stormwater pipe issue immediately. Today, the judge set a trial date of January 9th to address all the matters at once.
We were happy to get a date soon because of the urgency of the one case in particular. The deteriorating 54-inch stormwater pipe that is the Bangor Mall's pipe, sinkholes have opened up along it, and we are concerned that the public sewer main that is also in that location could be damaged during the next rainstorm.
Attorneys for the mall's ownership group declined to speak on camera, but did provide a written statement. It reads in part, quote, "NAMDAR is committed to the long-term future of the Bangor Mall and its surrounding community."
They say they've been working with the city to understand the vision for the mall property and, quote, "a variety of mixed-use options are being explored, such as a hotel, affordable housing, retail, entertainment, and/or office space." NAMDAR says it's open to all possibilities, including economically viable development plans, joint venture plans, or even selling the property to the city. If you'd like to read the full statement, it will be on our website shortly.